Ramadan, Ramadan, for Allah I cry. Ramadan, Ramadan, for Allah I try.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام الأتمان الأكملان على خير خلق الله أجمعين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سار على سبيله ونهجه واستنى بسنته واهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. The topic of tonight's lecture is welcoming Ramadan. This is a topic which I think everyone's heard over and over again. It's a topic that normally in every single masjid that you go through, whether in Canada, the UK, or any other part of the world, before Ramadan there will always be a lecture about welcoming Ramadan. You will get this everywhere. And year in and year out we have the same lecture, the same theme, the same topic being discussed over and over again. The speaker may differ, but the topic will be the same. And the material will be the same, the information for the most part will be the same. So the problem isn't that we don't know how to welcome Ramadan. I think there's not a single person here, other than maybe the really young kids, but for the vast majority of us, we know how to welcome Ramadan. We know all of the hadith about Ramadan. For the vast majority of us, I would assume we even know the rulings of Ramadan, the fiqh of Ramadan, what to do in fasting, what not to do. I think all of this is something which is well known. And so in my lecture today, I don't want to go over the same aspects that everyone's heard of. I don't want to go and regurgitate that same information again. Even though we will touch upon some of those same verses from the Quran, some of those similar hadiths from our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the point of touching over these hadith over and over again is as a reminder, firstly for myself and then for my brothers and sisters. But what I want to do more essentially today in today's lecture is I want to give you a slightly different slant on Ramadan. A different perspective, a different view on Ramadan. And what I want you to do for today's lecture is you're going to have to use your imagination. You're going to actually have to use your brain that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given you, that intellectual thinking capacity that Allah has bestowed upon you. You're going to have to use it today. Because what I want you to do today and throughout this lecture and in the build-up to Ramadan and then in Ramadan itself and then after Ramadan as well, I want you to live with Ramadan, to interact with Ramadan. Treat Ramadan as a guest. Treat Ramadan as a guest. Imagine that Ramadan is living. It's breathing. It can see, it can hear, and most importantly, it can speak. It has a voice. I want you to interact and live with Ramadan. Because what you will find the world over, and it's not something specific to Windsor or Canada or any other part of the world, it's the world over, wherever the Muslims are. The vast majority of Muslims, not just with Ramadan, but with many different acts of worship, they've now considered it to be a chore and a burden. Go to someone and tell him that he has to pray 5 times a day. He's going to think it's the most difficult thing in the world. He would rather go and study at university for 5 years, do a PhD, like I'm doing, and be bogged down in research, than have to go and pray. You would rather do anything than have to spend his money and give charity. Going for Hajj is like such an arduous journey that for the vast majority of Muslims we put it off and delayed until we're 40, 50, 60. Acts of worship have become burdens upon us. They're chores. They're those things that niggle in the back of our heads, in the back of our minds, that we would rather soon forget. We'd rather not be bogged down with it. If we had a choice, if Allah had given us a choice, pray or don't pray, it's up to you. Fast or don't fast, it's up to you. Make Hajj or don't make Hajj, it's up to you. There will be no punishment if you don't. The vast majority of the Muslim Ummah wouldn't do it. Am I wrong? The vast majority of the Muslims wouldn't do it. If Allah gave a choice to the Muslims to pray or not to pray, this mosque would most likely be empty, as well as many of the masajid around the world. If the Muslims had a choice as to give zakah or not, the vast majority of Muslims wouldn't give zakah. And so the reason for all of this is what? It's we consider these acts of worship to be acts of chores and burdens. Because the person who truly worships Allah, who actually worships Allah, enjoys worshiping. has a sweetness that he tastes within his mouth or her mouth. They taste the sweetness from this act of worship. Just as our Prophet ﷺ, when he would come to pray, what would he say to Bilal radiallahu anhu? Arihna bis-salah. Allow us to seek comfort and rest and contentment with the prayer. This is someone who enjoys worship. The Prophet ﷺ, even though all of his sins are forgiven, his past, present, future sins, all of them are forgiven. Even so, he will stand during the night and pray to Allah to the extent that he will have blisters upon his feet. He would cry so profusely, so severely, that in the morning Aisha radiallahu anha, his wife would say that I would touch the ground and I could feel it was wet with tears. In the morning, it will still be wet from his tears. This is someone who enjoys worship, who doesn't consider it to be an act of burden, who doesn't consider it to be a chore, who doesn't consider it to be a difficulty placed upon him or her. This is someone who enjoys worshipping Allah, because they know that the sweetest thing that a person can do in the dunya is to come closer to Allah, to gain the pleasure of Allah. And it's because we don't have this mindset. It's because we don't treat Ramadan, for example, because it's the subject of tonight's lecture. It's because we don't treat Ramadan with that same mindset that Ramadan has become a burden. Everyone sitting here knows that Ramadan should bring us closer to Allah. Everyone sitting here knows that in Ramadan, Allah Azza wa Jal opens the gates of paradise, closes the gates of fire. Everyone knows that in Ramadan, every single night, Allah Azza wa Jal frees people from the fire. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows that after Ramadan, we should be better Muslims than we were before Ramadan. This isn't something new, right? Everyone knows it. But the fact of the matter is that for the vast majority of us, none of it applies. We know it, Ramadan will come, Ramadan will go, and nothing will have changed. We'll be pretty hungry for the whole month, and thirsty, and it will have been difficult, but we won't actually have gained anything. This is the way that we've become to treat our acts of worship. This is the way we live with these acts of worship. So what I want you today to do is imagine Ramadan as a guest. Someone that lives, someone that breathes, someone that can see, that can hear, that can speak. Because if something is living, and if you interact and live with that thing, then you have to treat it in a certain way. Whereas if it's something which is dead, something which doesn't matter, then you can ignore it and neglect it and tick the box and move on. Or if it's something that's living, like if you had a guest that came to your house to stay, that's living, breathing, seeing, hearing, speaking, you can't just ignore them. You can't just place them outside in the garden shed, right? And you can't just leave them there for a week and then come back later when it suits you. You need to interact with it. And so that's what I want you to do with Ramadan. Live with Ramadan. Interact with Ramadan. If Ramadan came upon us today, imagine, Ramadan came from a faraway land. And by the way, Ramadan, how many times has it seen Muslims fasting every single year? Since the time of the Prophet ﷺ, for over 1400 years, Ramadan has seen Muslims fast. It has seen the Prophet ﷺ fast, the companions radiallahu anhum fast, the great scholars of Islam fast. It has seen Muslims in Saudi Arabia fast, Muslims in Pakistan and India fast, Muslims in Indonesia fast, Muslims in Canada and the US and the UK. It has seen all of them fast. Imagine if Ramadan was to come to you today, right here in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Ramadan was to come to you as a guest. What would Ramadan say about us? About us as individual Muslims, about us as a community that fasts together, that prays together in the month of Ramadan, that recites Quran together in the month of Ramadan. What would Ramadan say about us? Imagine Ramadan had a voice box. It could articulate its thoughts. It could speak to you and me. And Ramadan would be very frank. Ramadan wouldn't nicely brush up things. It wouldn't make things appear nicer than they are. It would tell us the truth and it would be blatant. What would Ramadan say to us? What would Ramadan say to us? Would Ramadan say that we are like those people that Allah speaks about in the Quran when He says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you, just as it was prescribed for those who came before you, so that you may increase in piety, increase in taqwa. Would Ramadan come and apply this statement to us? Would Ramadan see us as individual Muslims who fast year in and year out? And let's be very frank and truthful. There are many people sitting here today that have seen Ramadan for decades upon end. Ramadan comes to us every single year. The youngest child will even try to fast in the month of Ramadan, even if it's only half a day or a day. How many years has Ramadan come upon us? What would Ramadan say to us? Does this verse apply to us? That every year when Ramadan comes, we increase in Iman, we increase in Taqwa. That Ramadan is a turning point in our lives, so that we're better Muslims in that Ramadan than we were before Ramadan. Is this what Ramadan would say about us? Or would Ramadan say about us, just as the Prophet ﷺ said, that perhaps a person will fast, but the only thing that they will gain is hunger and thirst? Is this what applies to us? That Ramadan comes upon us every year, and the only thing we gain is hunger and thirst. Taraweeh prayers come upon us every single year, and the only thing we gain is fatigue and tiredness. How many people in Ramadan, and already you will hear the Muslims say this, the fast is 18 hours long this year. I don't know how long it's going to be in Canada, but right I'm from, it's going to be 18 hours. 17, 18-hour long fasts. And this is all that we're worried about. This is our preparation for Ramadan. We want to see the timetable to see exactly how long this fast is going to be. What time is Taraweeh going to start? What time is it going to finish? What time is Fajr? When are we going to get some sleep in this month? How are we going to make dinner for our friends in this month? How are we going to schedule our lives in this month? This is the way people are. They will come to the Taraweeh prayer and all they will want is the Imam to read fast. Why is the Imam taking so long? Doesn't he know it's midnight? Why is he not taking so long in his recitation? He doesn't need to finish the Quran this year. Maybe like just do Juz'an every day or something. I don't know. This is the way many people are. And it's because they don't live with Ramadan. They don't treat Ramadan as an honorable guest that has come only once a year. And perhaps it will never come back again. So what are we? Are we those Muslims who only gain hunger and thirst? Is this our version of fasting? Hunger, thirst, fatigue, tiredness? And this is why, if this is the case, and this is why Ramadan comes upon us every single year and we gain nothing. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they would say that if Ramadan came upon us, we would make dua for 6 months after Ramadan. 6 months. From the beginning of Ramadan, for 6 months they would make dua that Allah accepts their actions within that month. 6 months of the year, they would constantly make dua to Allah that their actions that they performed in Ramadan were accepted in the sight of Allah. And then for the remaining 6 months of the year, they would make dua to Allah that He allows them to see another Ramadan. This is the status of Ramadan with someone who loves Ramadan. Someone who is longing to meet Ramadan. Someone that acknowledges that Ramadan is a guest that will come and perhaps he will never return again. Perhaps we will never see Ramadan again. Ramadan is such an amazing experience. It is something we should uplift the whole community. This is the month that the Muslims should unite and come together. The Muslims, where the people's iman should increase, where charity should increase, where recitation of the Quran should increase, when people should enjoy worshipping Allah. But is this the way of the Muslims? If Ramadan would come upon us, Ramadan would say to us that our Prophet ﷺ once ascended the minbar and he said Ameen 3 times without any reason. He said Ameen 3 times. And so the companion said, O Messenger of Allah, why is it that you ascended the minbar and you said Ameen 3 times? No one made dua, we didn't hear anything. You said Ameen for 3 times. And so he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that indeed Jibreel came upon me And he made 3 du'as and he said to me after each one, say Ameen. So I said Ameen. And from those 3 du'as was that he said, O Muhammad, the one that Ramadan will come upon them, yet they cannot have their sins forgiven, then may Allah distance them from His mercy. Say Ameen. So the Prophet ﷺ said Ameen. Is this us? Is this what Ramadan would apply to us? If Ramadan would come, if Ramadan would speak, if Ramadan would enter upon us, imagine if Ramadan came in this month, in this year, what would He see from our actions? What do we do extra in Ramadan? Other than the fasting that we do, and maybe the Taraweeh prayer that we recite or that we read. What other acts of worship do we do that bring us closer to Allah, that gain the pleasure of Allah, that guarantee that Allah Azza wa Jal will free us from His hellfire? How do we buy our freedom and our salvation? How do we buy it? Because this is what it is. We need to buy our safety from the fire. And to buy our safety, you don't pay with dollars or with pounds, you pay with Iman and with righteous action. This is how you buy your safety. And so what do we do in Ramadan? If Ramadan came upon us, and He was to compare us as Muslims who fast to the companions radiallahu anhum, and to the great scholars of Islam, and to those generations that lived in the past, what would He see? Would He see that we're just as good as them, or better than them? Or would He see that Ramadan, that us as Muslims are far less, far inferior in terms of worship? There were scholars in the past, my dear brothers and sisters, who when the month of Ramadan came upon them, they would close their books of hadith. And narrating the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ is one of the most honorable things a Muslim can do. To remember the Prophet ﷺ, to study his life and his sayings. Yet Imam Malik and others would close their books of hadith, and they would say, هَذَا شَهْرُ الْقُرْآنِ. This is the month of the Qur'an. We don't recite hadith, we don't study hadith in this month. This is the month in which we recite the Qur'an. Will they be like those scholars who the month of Ramadan would come upon them and they would finish the Qur'an every single night? The recitation of the Qur'an, or every 3 nights, or every 5 nights, or every 7 nights? Or are we Muslims that struggle to finish the whole Qur'an even once in Ramadan? How many Muslims are there that can't even finish the Qur'an? They can't even finish the Qur'an in Ramadan. They can't even attend every single night in the Taraweeh prayer. There are Muslims in many masjids, and I don't know about this one, but many masjids where I come from, in the beginning of Ramadan, the mosques are full. The first night, and the second night, and the third night. And then the mosques will decrease in number. And so in the middle of Ramadan, you will come and it will be like Isha prayer. There's not that many people there. And the Muslims will decrease and decrease until it comes to the 27th night. And then they will all return. 27, 28, 29. This is how Muslims are. So is this the way that we treat our guests? If Ramadan would come and see us, what would it say? How would it compare us to the Prophet ﷺ? And when I say that it compares us to the Prophet ﷺ, this shouldn't be something which demotivates us. We shouldn't think that the Prophet ﷺ was someone who was far superior to us, and he was. And so we can't even achieve anything that he achieved. The Prophet ﷺ was our role model. And everything which he did was there as a means for us to go and to attain that same level. To imitate him in his actions, in his etiquettes, in his words, ﷺ. And so when the companions say that when Ramadan would enter upon the Prophet ﷺ, he would be more generous than the wind-driven rain. That wind, as we saw today, that drives the rain so fast and so hard that there isn't a single part except that that rain will touch it. That's how generous he was. Everyone would be touched by his generosity. There wasn't a single person that would be left out from his kindness. Is this how we are in the month of Ramadan? With our wealth, with the money that Allah has blessed us with, that Allah has bestowed upon us? Is this what Ramadan would see from us if Ramadan was to attend? My dear brothers and sisters, if Ramadan came upon us, what would he see about us in our homes? What would he see our families doing behind closed doors? How is the month of Ramadan different for us as a family, as a household, than any other month in the year? When Ramadan enters upon us, does our family and our household change? Do you have the wife waking up her husband during the night and saying, pray, it is Ramadan? Do you have the husband waking up his wife and saying, pray, it is Ramadan? Do you have them telling their children, encouraging them to recite the Quran so that they can realize and understand that Ramadan is different? It's not like any other time of the year. Ramadan is special. There is added emphasis on ibadah, on worship, on recitation of the Quran and so on. Or is Ramadan just like every other day? Just like every other month? Nothing different. If you were to go into someone's house in Ramadan, if you didn't know the fact that it was Ramadan, you would see nothing different. If you didn't know that the people were fasting, you can't tell that they're fasting. There is nothing in their house that makes it seem like it's fasting. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the last 10 days of Ramadan would come upon him, then he would be even more vigorous in his worship, even more energetic in his worship. And he would wake up his family and he would remain the whole night awake to seek the pleasure of Allah, to seek the mercy of Allah. And he was someone who all of his sins were forgiven. How many of us use Ramadan as an excuse to come closer to Allah? And it is from the mercy of Allah that Allah gave us Ramadan in the first place. Because if there wasn't Ramadan, then people wouldn't pray Taraweeh. There would be no encouragement to recite the Quran more. How many of us interact with Ramadan? Instead of looking at it negatively, why don't we look at it in a positive light? When Ramadan comes upon us, instead of thinking that there is an 18-hour long fast, why don't we think that the time between Isha and Fajr is so short that we can stay up during the night? That we can recite more Quran? That we can worship Allah more? Because we all know, my dear brothers and sisters, that in the last third of the night Allah Azza wa Jal descends to the lowest heaven of this earth. And He says to the people, who is there that will ask for me so I can give him? Who is there that will repent so that I may accept his repentance? Who is there that will seek my forgiveness so that I may forgive him? How many of us will use it as an excuse and a means to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If Ramadan came to us, if Ramadan could see and speak and hear, would Ramadan not remind us of Laylatul Qadr? That night that will come, that is better than 1,000 months, that will come within the last 10 days, the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Would He not encourage us to seek out that night, to spend that night in worship of Allah, to make dua to Allah, that night that if you were to live for many, many years, you will not be able to gain the reward of that single night. How many Muslims spend their time seeking out this night? How many of us care for our families, that we encourage our brothers and our sisters and our children and our parents to seek out this night? How many of us during the month of Ramadan will encourage our family members to come to the masjid to pray Fajr? Everyone's awake for Fajr. Everyone's eating and drinking. Yet how few of the Muslims will actually come to the masjid to pray? They have no excuse in Ramadan. How many of us will encourage our family members to come and pray Fajr in the masjid? If Ramadan could come and see us, what would Ramadan say to you? I want you to think about this. This isn't a question that you need to answer to me or to anyone else. There is a question for you. What would Ramadan say to you? If Ramadan could have a conversation with you, a private conversation with you, he could speak to you after he saw what you did, after he heard what you say, what would Ramadan say to you? If Ramadan could speak, would it not remind us that on Yawm al-Qiyamah there will be a gate from the gates of paradise that is known as Ar-Rayyan. And this gate of paradise is exclusively for those who worship Allah by fasting. It is for those who fast, and only those will be allowed to enter through this gate. No one else. Only those people. If Ramadan would come to us, wouldn't Ramadan remind us that the month of Ramadan, the month of fasting, isn't just a month where you stop eating and drinking. That's not what fasting in Islam means. that you stop eating and you stop drinking, but you can carry on doing everything else. Ramadan in Islam means that you stay away, that all of your limbs fast from the sins of Allah, from disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So not only do you not eat and do you not drink, but you stop lying, and you stop cheating, and you stop deceiving, and you stop disobeying Allah. In Ramadan, not only does your mouth fast, but your eyes fast, and your ears fast, and your hands fast, and your feet fast, and your whole body fast. This is the true meaning of Ramadan. Or are we like those who the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ لَمْ يَدَعْ قَوْلَ الزُّورِ وَالْعَمَلَ بِهِ فَلَيْسَ لِلَّهِ حَاجَةٌ فِي أَنْ يَدَعَ طَعَامَهُ وَشَرَابَهُ. The one who when Ramadan comes upon them, they still continue to lie and to give false testimony and to still act upon this false testimony, then Allah has no need that they leave off their food and drink. If Ramadan is only merely a physical appearance, that we just show people that we're fasting because we don't eat and we don't drink. If this is all that Ramadan means to us, that we stay hungry and thirsty, and that we become tired and fatigued, or that we lose weight, then this isn't the Ramadan that Allah wants. This isn't why Allah legislated fasting. This isn't what Allah Azza wa Jal wants from us. But what we need to acknowledge is that in all of the acts of worship, what Allah Azza wa Jal wants from us is piety. It is taqwa. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jal, when He speaks about sacrificing, He says, لَنْ يَنَالَ اللَّهَ لُحُومُهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا وَلَكِنْ يَنَالُهُ التَّقْوَى مِنْكُمْ. Allah doesn't gain from the meat of the animal that you sacrifice, nor from its blood, but He gains from the piety that you display, from the taqwa that you show to Allah. This is what Allah Azza wa Jal wants, the taqwa that we have. This is what He wants from sacrifice. This is what He wants from prayer. This is what He wants from charity. This is what He wants from Hajj. And this is what He wants from Ramadan. When we fast, my dear brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jal wants to see our iman increase. He wants to see us coming closer to Him in worship. So what can we do? How do we prepare for Ramadan? In my opinion, the first and most important thing is the mindset that we have. The way that we look at Ramadan. The way that we treat Ramadan. Because most often you hear people saying that when you want to prepare for Ramadan, then you need to start fasting in Sha'ban. Start fasting before Ramadan so you get used to it. And this is true, and I agree. It is something which we need to do. We need to increase in the recitation of Quran, so when Ramadan comes, we're into a routine. We need to get used to praying during the night, so when Ramadan comes, we're already into a routine. We need to teach our families and ourselves about the rulings of Ramadan, so that when Ramadan comes, we're not in ignorance. We don't know what we're doing. When Ramadan comes, we should be well equipped and prepared. For in my opinion, the first and most important and fundamental thing, the crux of the matter, is our mindset. Because what we want is at the end of Ramadan, for that Ramadan to have been an experience that will have changed our lives. An experience that will make us better Muslims, that will make us better parents, better spouses, better brothers and sisters in Islam. An experience that will increase us in Iman, bring us closer to Allah, increase our taqwa. This is what we want from Ramadan. But you can't achieve this, my brothers and sisters, if you look at Ramadan as a burden and a chore. If you look at Ramadan as simply something which will come, and something which will bog you down, and something which will make you tired, and something which will be a difficulty and a hardship upon you, then you won't gain anything from this Ramadan, except that which the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, from fatigue and hunger and thirst. If you want to benefit from Ramadan, if you want to welcome Ramadan, then what we need to do is we need to accept Ramadan as an honorable guest. Just as the Prophet ﷺ would treat Ramadan as an honorable guest. When Ramadan came, he would recite the Quran more, pray to Allah more, fast more. This is what he would do in Ramadan. And when Ramadan would leave, he would be a better person. And the community would be stronger. And the Muslims would be on a higher Iman. And we should be like the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. When Ramadan comes, we engage ourselves in dua. We long to see Ramadan. We look forward to Ramadan. We can't wait until the day that Ramadan comes. And when Ramadan leaves, that day of Eid, when the trumpets of Eid are blown and the people come out in celebration and joy and festivity, then that day isn't the day when Ramadan ends. That day isn't the day when our change ends. That is the day of the new beginning. That is the day when our lives have changed for the better. That's not the day when everything is allowed again. All of the stuff that we tried not to do in Ramadan, now we can go and it's open season. That is the day when Ramadan leaves that we are truly transformed into better Muslims. My dear brothers and sisters, what I want you to do as you leave from this lecture is to pay attention unto how you interact with Ramadan, how you live with Ramadan, how you treat Ramadan. And when Ramadan actually comes upon you, when that month of Ramadan begins, remember these words. How will you interact with Ramadan? How will you treat Ramadan? Imagine that Ramadan can speak, it can hear, it can see, it has feelings, it is alive. How will you live with this month of Ramadan? How will you treat this guest that has come upon you and maybe it will never return again? This is what I want you to go away with, and this is what I want you to develop in your minds. This is the mindset that I want you to adopt. And inshallah, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows this month of Ramadan to be a month which is a month of blessing for all of us, a month in which we change and transform our lives for the better, a month in which we come closer to Allah, a month in which He forgives our sins and frees us from the fire. هذا والله أعلم ونسبة العلم إليه أسلم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.